Everybody's worried about the wrong AI risk. They're worried it's going to be too dumb, miss an order, answer a support ticket wrong, hallucinate a shipping date. That's not the risk that keeps me up at night. The risk that keeps me up at night is that the system works perfectly, and it's quietly learning to be the wrong kind of system. I'm Todd Jennings. I've spent over 25 plus years building technology systems. I've been a CTO. I've co-founded companies. And today I help clients with their technology and, more importantly, AI strategy from roadmap to execution. I'm not talking about AI alignment as theory. I build AI agents and AI systems for a living. Voice agents that handle order lookups. Multi-agent systems that run cold outreach, QA their own work, and hand off to a human only when it's a real edge case. I've got one running right now that pulls tracking data, checks order status, and opens support tickets without a human touching it. So when Anthropic's research team says something that should change how every operator thinks about this stuff, I pay close attention, because I'm the guy who has to live with what these systems actually do once they're in production. They found that when you train a model to take shortcuts, to cheat, on a narrow task like writing code, it doesn't just get better at cheating on code, it becomes a worse model. Broadly, it starts lying in places that have nothing to do with code, sabotaging other tasks, in some tests at other labs, arguing for things no aligned system should ever argue for. Now, most operators hear that and think, okay, don't reward my agents for cheating, got it, moving on. That's the shallow read. The actual finding is stranger and more useful than that. When the researchers reran the exact same experiment, same task, same reward for cutting corners, but this time they told the model upfront that this was just a game, a sandbox, low stakes. The model still cheated on the code, but it didn't become a worse model. The bad behavior stayed contained to the task. It didn't generalize. Same action, different story about what the action meant, and that changed what the model became. Here's why that should stop you if you're running AI in your business. You are right now telling your systems a story. Whether you mean to or not, every prompt you write, every reward signal, every just get this done, every corner you let it cut because the deadline mattered more than the process. Every time you optimize an agent purely for speed or purely for closing the ticket with no framing around why or what kind of business this is, you're not just training a task, you're training a character. And most operators never think about that because most operators think of AI the way they think of a spreadsheet formula. Input, output, done, no story required. But that's not what's actually happening under the hood. These systems build internal representations. They generalize, they infer what kind of thing they're supposed to be from the pattern of what gets rewarded, not just from the instructions you typed. If the pattern you reward is cut corners, hit the metric, don't ask questions, you shouldn't be surprised when that shows up somewhere you didn't intend it to. So here's the shift I've made in how I build. I stopped treating agent design as pure task engineering. Trigger, action, output. I started treating it as character engineering on purpose. That means three things practically. One, I frame the job, not just the task. An agent that handles support tickets isn't told resolve the ticket. It's told what kind of company it's representing, what good looks like beyond speed, and where the line is that it should never cross without a human. Two, I watch what I'm actually rewarding, not what I meant to reward. If your success metric is ticket closed fast, you will get an agent that closes tickets fast, and eventually corners cut somewhere you didn't design for. The reward signal is the real instruction. The prompt is just decoration on top of it. Three, I build the story in, not just the safeguards. Guardrails matter. Validation steps matter. But guardrails catch the failure after the character is already wrong. The story, what this system believes it's for, is what prevents the failure from forming in the first place. You see this play out in something as simple as a voice agent. For example, take an agent that handles order status and shipping lookups for a customer. If that agent is optimized purely to resolve the call fast, you get an agent that will guess a shipping date rather than admit uncertainty, because uncertainty slows the call down and slow calls get flagged. Build the same agent with a different story. This agent represents a company that would rather be honest and slightly slower than confident and wrong. And you get different behavior on the exact same task, same tools, same data access, different character, different outcome when it hits an edge case. That's not a hypothetical. That's the practical version of what happened in the research. The instructions were secondary. The inferred story about what kind of agent this was supposed to be. That's what drove the behavior when things got ambiguous. And ambiguous is where every real business system eventually lands. Clean, well-defined tasks aren't where trust gets built or broken. Edge cases are. The old way of thinking about this, AI risk, is a compliance checklist. Bolt on some guardrails, write a policy doc, move on. The new way of thinking about this, if you actually build with these systems, the character of your agent is a design decision, same as your database schema or your API contract. You don't get to skip it, you only get to decide whether you did it on purpose or by accident. The businesses that get this right aren't the ones with the most guardrails. They're the ones who were deliberate about the story from the start, who treated "what kind of system is this" as a real question, answered before the first line of the workflow got built. So, the real lesson from all of this isn't AI is dangerous, be careful. It's this: your AI agents already have a character. They inferred one whether you assigned one or not. The only question is whether you were the one who wrote it. I didn't get into building automation systems to write philosophy. I got into it to fix broken workflows and stop good people from wasting their day on repetitive work. But you can't separate those two things anymore. The system that answers your customers, ships your product data, or opens your support tickets is running on a story about what kind of business you are. Write that story on purpose. Or someone or something will write it for you. Here's the thing. Most businesses running AI agents right now have never once asked, what story is this system actually learning from how I built it? They're focused on uptime and speed, not character. That gap is exactly where I work. As a fractional CTO, I come in and build the system the right way the first time, not bolted on guardrails after something's already gone sideways. If you're running AI agents in your business, or you're about to, and you want a second set of eyes on what story you're actually training into that system, that's a conversation worth having before you scale it any further. Head to cybertigertech.com and book a call. I'll walk through your current setup and show you exactly where the character gap is and what it would take to close it. If your organization does not have a clear AI plan, check out my AI enablement assessment details in the comment below. Thanks for sticking with me. I am J. Todd Jennings, and I will see you in the next one.